Nia Day, he's going to open up our ceremony with a libation. Everyone clap.
Pan-African women, and Jumon. Ofele, watch out for washing. Many years were here, and Nameti. Wami Kroma, Wami Turi, Sekoturi, Lumumba, Rosa Parks, Malcolm X. Enfin, mon ami Toyi, Nameti, Wamibe, Nameke, Shadi Papa, Abajo. Look to one or two on there. I mean, you were here, you know, friend, I am any and I'm in back. Aquame, Kawapina, Nuabaya, Mofemo, Aku Mofemo, Hair Shia, Trap, oh my yapa.
Thank you. I would like to now introduce our MCs for the afternoon. I first met this lady today, not today, maybe this last week, and she's been a pleasure to be around. Please help me introduce Trudy. And this next brother I've known since I was about 19 years old, and I can tell you everything that he's ever written has been phenomenal. Please help me welcome Brother Adamo.
Thank you, Sister Jeremy. My name is Gertrude A-AWRU, but you can simply call me Trudy. I'm a member of the All African People's Revolutionary Party and also a member of the All African Women Revolutionary Union. And it means so much to me that you're all gathered here today. I'm seeing beautiful sisters and some brothers from all other countries across the world. I know we're expecting more people, but you're late and we are going to pardon them. Should we pardon them? Should we pardon them? Yeah. Are you sure? Okay, we'll pardon them.
Alright, greetings everyone. My name is Mjiba Frehiwot. I'm an organizer for the All African People's Revolutionary Party in the United States of America. And I'm happy to be home here in Africa, happy to be here in Ghana. And happy to be here today celebrating the 5th Pan-African Women's Day in Ghana. Let's give it up for that. The 5th Pan-African Women's Day in Ghana. That's a beautiful thing. We got to bring the energy of our struggle in here today because our women have always been on the front line. Y'all know our women are the reason we're here today. Who here doesn't know that? Everybody know that? Y'all gotta act like you know it then. Let's give some joy and pride for our women and struggle that they've engaged in for us. And I have some questions for you. How many of you are sick and tired of seeing our women in the lanes of the street 24 hours a day, selling Baltic water for pesos to feed their family? When Baltic makes billions of dollars and takes them out of Africa and takes it to Europe. Is anybody else sick of seeing that? Come on, I don't believe y'all. I don't believe you're sick. Are you sick of seeing that? All right, so that's what Pan-African Women's Day is about. So let's have that energy in here. We have a great program for you, and I want to is it okay if I have just a little fun here? Can we be revolutionaries and have fun too? Can we do that? Okay, so let's kick it off like this. So there's a high-rise building here in Accra. And on the roof of that building, there is a European CEO man, there's an Asian CEO man, there's an Arab CEO man, and there's an African woman on the roof of this building. The Asian CEO goes to the edge of the roof and says, "This is for Africa," and he jumps. The Arab CEO goes to the edge of the roof and says, "This is for Africa," and he jumps. The African woman goes to the edge of the roof and says, "No, this is for Africa," and pushes the European CEO off. All right, so let's introduce our first activity of the day.
Okay, so our first activity of the day is a welcome address from the A-AWRU, where I belong, and also tribute by Miss B. And round of applause.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. I'm Angela. I'll go. Okay, so I'm here. My name is Belinda Franklin Pete, or Miss B, as I'm popularly known everywhere. So I'm here to welcome you all to this afternoon's event. Please feel welcome and enjoy the event. I'm also here to tell you about the A-AWRU and mix it up with the A-APRP, and also to tell you to give a tribute in memory of Mama Subukwe and Mama Mandela. So I will put all of them together. So I welcome you in the name of Pan-Africanism to this important event. And I also, like I said, will pay my tributes. I'll start by telling us a little about the A-AWRU and fuse it in with the A-APRP, because I can't do one and leave one out. So the A-AWRU was established in 1980, about 38 years ago, to recruit African women to work for their people in the context of an organization and fighting for the people. So it is the women's wing of the A-APRP, which is the All African Revolutionary People's Party. And that A-APRP is an independent mass revolutionary Pan-African political party, which was also founded in Guinea-Conakry by Dr. Nkrumah in 1968. Like the A-APRP, the A-AWRU is to emancipate the African woman globally from the triple oppression faced by her during work as a woman and also as an African. It is also to forge an immeasurable contribution of the African woman and what the African woman has done towards the struggle and the total liberation of its people or her people. So the A-AWRU has some pledges it's honest, and I would like to mention them. One of them is the development of the African woman's historical tradition to the struggle and increase her ability to shoulder the revolutionary responsibilities necessary to forward Pan-Africanism. Another is to help develop African children into revolutionaries. And so you can see we have a lot of children here this afternoon. And to dedicate their lives, work, skills, and all creative energies to the liberation of the African woman. It is also to do that also for the African woman and African people, and also to help the oppressed and all others in the world. It is also to carry out the above, that is all that I mentioned, those goals with revolutionary discipline and consistent ideological and organizational development. So that's just a little about the A-AWRU. I believe as we continue with the program, there will be more in practice for you to understand why we are here this afternoon. So I'm back on the second reason for my being here this afternoon, to pay tribute to those two wonderful women. There are lots of women who have contributed to our struggle as Africans, but we we chose these two women to celebrate this afternoon, notwithstanding the others who are all part of it. So one is Winnie Mandela and one is Mama Sobukwe. They both are South Africans. So I wrote a short piece about them, the two women. Zonaleni Veronica Sobukwe, Winnie Mandela were both African women involved in the struggle for the liberation from the apartheid regime. They worked from within the country to rally support from both inside and outside. They were hurt by the regime, yet were tenacious fighters for freedom. Zonalemi is known as the mother of Azania, woman of power and strength. Winnie was a primary lecturer of socio-economic and political revolution. She triumphed and is the one who triumphed against the terrorism of the special branch. Torture and blandishments could not break their spirits. We at the PAWD 2018 this afternoon in Accra, Ghana, and to be specific here at the Aya Center, are proud to state together with all women of the A-AWRU globally that though your struggle and contributions are forgotten by groups and movements shaped by you, we have not and will continue to shine your lights. We won't forget about you, we will continue to shine the light. Amandla. Cha, ni umanya bla ofen.
All right, so as we all know, African culture is humanist, it's collective, and in the spirit of recognizing African women who have nurtured us and are the reason that we're here, certainly the reason I'm here, then we have a number of African power packages, gifts that we're going to be giving away throughout the program, and they're chock full of goodies that you're going to enjoy. And all you have to do to get one of these is just answer the questions that we're going to be asking throughout the program. To receive one, just the first person who gets it right will get the African Power Package, and we have several of them. So I'm going to start with our first question to give away our first Power Package of the day. Are y'all excited? Yeah. Y'all don't look like you're mean mugging me up here. Come on now. Let's get excited about this. So the first question, and if you know it, wonderful. If you don't, have your phone ready to Google it. So this African woman was originally from this region of Africa, and she was taken into slavery, and she was taken to the Western Hemisphere, to the island nation known today as Cuba. And while she was there, she organized as a Maroon woman. She organized very successful slave revolts against the Spanish in Cuba. And she was such a monumental force as a leader there that when Cuba sent between 1978 and 1991, you know, Cuba sent almost 500,000 troops to fight in Angola. Did y'all know that? Y'all looking at me like you didn't know that. Well, they did. They sent almost 500,000 troops to fight in Angola. No one else helped Angola outside of Africa, other than a few forces. Sékou Touré, the Democratic Party of Guinea, definitely helped. The other liberation fighters in the other Portuguese colonies helped, but none of the superpowers helped. And small Cuba sent 500,000 fighters to Angola to fight for not only Angola's independence, but Namibia's independence and all of Southern Africa. And that mission was named after this woman. Does anybody know the name of this woman? Y'all got phones, y'all can look it up. You look up everything else, come on. We'll give it a second. We're gonna have some fun with y'all today. Even if you don't want to have fun, you're gonna have fun anyway, all right? So, because in a couple of days, I gotta go back to the United States of America. And I'm going to be depressed when I got to go back. So I'm going to enjoy my time here at home in Africa. So excuse me if we're going to have some fun today. Is that all right with y'all? All right. Revolution can be nice. Like Toni Morrison said, I don't even want to be a part of the revolution if I can't dance and sing. That's the men's version of revolution, where everything has to be serious all the time. I don't want that revolution. I want to enjoy life. That's what we're fighting for, right? To enjoy life, for our people to enjoy life. So our women aren't exploited the way they are today. Isn't that what we're fighting for? Yeah. And y'all looking at me like you don't know. So, all right, anybody have an answer? We can come back to it. We stumped y'all? Okay, we got work to do. That's all right. Don't nobody be mad. We'll come back to it. All right, so now we're going to bring up these wonderful brothers over here. Those of you who are here in Ghana, I'm sure you're very familiar with them. I was able to hear them practicing, and I was jamming just to listening to them practice. So I'm very excited to have them come up and perform. So let's give them a strong African clap, all right, for Hawele Sounds. Give it up for Hawele Sounds. Give it up for them.
Come package goes to you. You all want to see what's inside, right? I'm not allowed, it's a surprise package, so get the answer and get the package. Okay, so the next 4 activities today, I want to remind you again, the theme for this event, this very event, Pan-African Women's Day, the 5th Pan-African Women's Day in Ghana. The theme for this event is Women and Migration in Africa, focusing on the search of economic emancipation.
Right.
So if you hear this theme, something should come up, right? Women and migration in Africa. Somebody will ask, so what has it done? Right? So women and migration in Africa, focus on the search for economic emancipation. We have our beautiful sisters from different countries right here, and I'm going to be introducing them. I know some are late, but we said we're going to pardon them, okay? So don't be angry with me. For the panel discussion, we have Sister Pamfo Anita Akua from Economic Fighters League. Is she here? Sister Pamfo Anita. Oh! Forgive me. Okay, so let's give it up for Sister Pamfo Anita. Okay, so she is from Economic Fighters League. Again, we have Sister Clemens B. Mangama, all the way from Gabon. Give it up for Sister Clemens. Okay, and we have Sister A-APRP Cowboy from All Africans Women Revolutionary Union, A-AWRU. So Sister A-APRP from the United States. And last but not the least, we have Sister Fifame. Forgive me, the name is very long. I should all have the program, you can see the name, right? Forgive me. Sister Fifame Sandrine from Benin. Okay, so we're going to be talking about the team, and then we'll finish with them. We'll have questions. You can throw up questions and then they'll answer you, okay? Anything. Women and migration in Africa in search for economic emancipation. So I hand over the microphone to my first speaker on the panel, Sister Anita. Okay. Hi, everyone.
The name is Pamfo Anita Akua. Again, and I fancy, proud fancy. So good afternoon to everybody. Yeah. Okay. Amanda.
Way too.
Oh, I want to feel the president. I want to feel the vibe. Amanda.
Way too.
Okay. Yeah. So this afternoon we're discussing women and migration here in Africa, and me being a Ghanaian, I'll be a bit biased and center of Ghana. Yes. So women in Ghana are more at a disadvantage, or let's say we are a disadvantaged faction. Yes, especially in a male-dominated country such as Ghana. Pardon me. So women, so there's this. Ghana is maybe a gender-structured society where the men mostly dominate in terms of politics, in terms of economics, that's business. Yeah, so normally you find the CEOs, you find the MDs as men. Women are mostly at a disadvantage where we are not wanted, or for decades now, women are not chosen, or let's say, yes. So women are not wanted to be at the top of those positions. We are not wanted to be the decision makers in the economy. But up until say 10 years ago, when the United Nations started putting beats into the government, or say 20 years ago, yes, almost 20 years ago, when the United Nations started to put pressure on the government to have female inclusion in certain key parts of the economy. Yes, so back to the migration days where there was colonization. I don't want to bore us with that story, we do know, but then we are focusing here on more contemporary migration where we have the females moving to other countries, other regions of Africa, and also other parts of the world to seek employment, education, places where they would actually be accepted, places where their views would actually matter, where they would contribute to certain key places or things in the economy or in the country. So Ghana, for instance, would have people moving from rural areas, yes, coming to the cities to look for education. But sometimes in the rural areas, we find our grandparents or our parents telling the females to stay in the kitchen as they are always used to from the days of the old, which have our parents and our grandparents telling us that we should stay in the kitchen and that schools are not meant for women, even though the government is saying that, oh, we should allow our children to go. But then, more particularly, in the Ghanaian society, we are not, the women or the females are not particularly advised or encouraged or really wanted to go for those things, or to work or to go to school to grow and gain knowledge, because the fundamental or that basic ideas that are in the human or in the native of Ghana's mind is that women are supposed to be in the kitchen, women are supposed to stay at home and not work and all those things. So mostly when these females start growing up and they hear of other places, maybe such as a city or a nearby country where they'll be allowed to express their views, where they'll be allowed to gain access to all these things, they do move from where they are to that place. So that's what we are here to discuss this afternoon, that is women and migration in Africa. So yes, women are not supposed to be taken care of. That is in the olden days, yes, especially they are not really given the choice to participate in certain things. They're not given the choice to say what we want and what not to be done. Certain discriminating acts that were in the society, such as the female genital mutilation and the triple C system, we were not really allowed to we're not really allowed to have a say in certain things. Certain things were imposed upon us, and in the end, we're not really taken care of in that sense. After we being imposed on with certain things that we're not really comfortable with, we're not also being taken care of. So when opportunities do come, we females do move from from wherever we are to other places. Yes, so. To talk about employment and education. Now, employment in Ghana over the years has mainly centered on taking in only male candidates, such that when you go for interviews, you have the interviewers who sit down and tell you that due to certain complications that has to do with women, you wouldn't be employed because, let's say, you want to apply for a job that would need you to stay in for most of the days or most of the months in the year, and you have to stay on for a longer time. But then for certain complications, maybe your menstrual cycles, you giving birth, you will not be approved or you will not be allowed to take certain key positions in companies. So women are not really prioritized in terms of choosing people to fit in certain positions or key positions in the work environment. Yes, and also after all these things, so let me talk about the migration aspects where people don't really go through the right path. So you not having all these things here in your country, or you not being comfortable in your country and wanting to move to another place, say Togo, or let me make it more broader, let's say Europe, where we've recently seen cases where we have our youth, and mostly the women youth, yes, moving through Ghana, moving from Ghana through Libya to Europe, through very bad situations here. So you find people or women strive very hard, get money and pay these guru boys or these collection guys to smuggle them from their country to another country, hoping that as they've been saying, that there's this brighter place somewhere where they would have easy access to, say, a better employment or a better job, or let's say a better education, let me say. They get there and they find out that it's not as rosy as they thought, and they are being taken to other places to work where they would clean, they would wash, do all manner of humane activities, and you pay minute amounts of money as wages, and then that is really taking a toll on the women, because we women are at a disadvantage here. Aside being at a disadvantage here, when we move to other countries, it's not as rosy as it seems. Even though there may be a universal, a universal face or a name that is given to all these things, where there are being proclamations, or should I say, let's say proclamations that the United Nations have made its efforts, and the AIs have Amnesty International, that is also an arm of the United Nations that does broadcast about the rights of people, that women have been put up there or out there, that things are really going on, and that they've done advocacy, and that these activists have been put there, and women are being inculcated into the system. Aside all these face things that we do see, when these women get there, hoping that there are better things that are there for them to go ahead with, the other land themselves in very, very unforeseen circumstances, where they engage in very tiring jobs. Very, very tiring jobs. Hello. Don't you get what I'm saying? Or it's okay, so when these women get to other countries, they find out that it's not as rosy as it may seem, and also they may end up in slavery, as we've all heard. I don't know if most of you know about things that are going on in other countries, where, for example, Qatar, where we have these people who smuggle their ways into their places, and out there it's being said that they have really been employed and things are going on well, but then from reports where we've seen people who have managed to escape and come back to the country, they come to tell us that certain things that do go on there are not really going on well, as in they go there, promise to get $10,000 every month for very good jobs where they actually fit for, but then when they get there, they are being speechless and pause, excuse my language, yes, and they are paid very, very small amounts of money, and they're really, they're mutilated when they go there. Okay, so from the government side here, what we noticed so far is that the government has taken certain initiatives, certain social intervention plans, where they've been, so far, they've tried to bring about the the free education that was supposed to meant to give free education or equal opportunity for a good education for all at the senior high school level. But then so far, it mainly has to do with the mindset of the people in the country. So the government could do their part in giving out equal opportunities to everybody there in the world, but then we find out that these things are really they are really into the core minds of people in our societies, especially the rural areas, where people still think and still hang on to the old ways and do not want females to go out there and have their way. Females to go out there and also have be able to go to schools and also be the person that they want to be and have equal access to the opportunities that are out there that the government is making available there. And also one thing that is impeding the government's initiatives as to bring in or to bring to make available very basic social things available to women. Let's say in the sense of schooling, in the sense of jobs, in the sense of let's take schooling and jobs. The government also has insufficient data. When we have the Ghana Living Standard Surveys, these documents were prepared, say 10 years ago. Let me use 10 years ago. We have GLSS1, GLSS2, and also the Ghana Growth and Poverty Reduction Strategy, where the government tries to take data on these women, because they realize that even though they bring in more social intervention policies, they realize that it is mainly at the basic, or it's one thing that is in the minds of the natives in the country. So they try to get data as to how it has been, or how extensive it is in the natives or in the rural areas in Ghana, and also try to make provisions as to how to make provisions as to come by or to care all these things. But then it seems that so far they really have insufficient data. I don't know who they are really blaming it on, but then there's insufficient data as to how all these things go, and we implore mostly that that we advise that if should we want to celebrate women in that sense, where we have real African women being put in the business sector, real African women being put in education, where they would climb the ranks of the educational ladder. Would say that the government should take more steps, yes, to improve upon the data that they have, and if this is strengthening the Ghana Statistical Board, where they would have people really go to rural areas and see for themselves and gather accurate data, so that these social intervention plans will actually go forth. And also, would like to say, I would like to conclude by saying that migration in the rural areas, so from Ghana to other places, is quite low. But then, despite the other generic factors, that would be that people are going to seek for employment and also going to seek for education. There are other really small things, or should I say small, they may be small, but then it's inadvertently go ahead to affect in the long run, saying that we don't give women the rights to come out to speak, we don't give women the choice as to who to marry. I think now it's getting better, but then say 2 decades ago, women were not really given the choice to do certain things. But then should we go ahead to polish or to try and help change that mindset of the people in the country that would go ahead to help? We should, even though we would like to focus on the more bigger picture of, or the more bigger causes of it in education or employment, I would implore that we should also pay attention to the very, very small things that are there that are going a long way to harm. That is, we not giving women the rights to come out to do what they want to do, and also give them the same social ladder as men in male-dominated societies. Thank you.
Okay, so before the next speaker speaks, and I'd like to acknowledge our guest speaker, who is in person of Nana Frempoma Sapo Kuma Dantua, Hema of Doma Traditional Area 2012, and Vice Presidential candidate of CPP. So, Nana, can we see you? Nana Hema of Doma.
Thank you again. My name is Clemence B. Mankama. I come from Gabon. Gabon is in Central Africa. We share border with Congo, with Cameroon, and with Equatorial Guinea. We mainly speak French. So when I was in GSS, my teacher asked us to do a presentation about I Have a Dream from Martin Luther King. And I did that presentation so well that I saw the potential of me speaking in English one day. And from that day, I had a dream. I had a dream to speak English one day. And this is why I'm here in Ghana today. Thank you for having me. We're talking about women migration in Africa, and in fact, when we limit it to economic emancipation, implication of migration must be looked upon in the first place. In the country where I come from, migration is part of it. And the government started applying policies when migration started from the year 1955 to 1975 till now, and these policies are being applied, preventing many from going outside. But we still see people moving outside and going to look for green pastures, to look for a better life. And we are here to talk about this because this has become in one way a challenge in people's life, especially in women's life. So how the economic aspect of migration has become a major concern. When you look around in the streets of Accra, you can see signboards, you can see posters of publicities of traveling abroad, of going outside and make it in life. And people are buying in that, and they see that this is an opportunity, and they take risks and prepare themselves and go outside. But we see that when they go outside, they mostly don't get what they want. Some, they make it, but most women especially, they suffer. So migration can lead to suffering. So the quest for better life overseas is like a suicide mission. Many are going outside not knowing what is ahead of them, and they take that risk. Even if they understand or they hear about what is happening there, they close their ears and they make sure that they have a plan, they have a dream. Like I had a dream of coming here, of coming and learn English. They too, they have that dream of going outside and trying to make it. And this is why you find them there and you find them suffering. And you can see it, you might have seen it in videos, you might have heard it on radio, talking about migration, talking about these people who are held-bound, who are being enslaved by these people who promise them to take them overseas and give them a better life. But they find themselves trapped. They find themselves in a way of no-return, and they suffer. And they only have their eyes to cry. Some are being deported. I had an auntie who went to France. She didn't have any paper. Her visa expired. And the police came to her house. She didn't know it. They knocked at the door. They asked for her passport. They checked in the visa. They checked in if the visa was valid or she had a resident permit. She didn't have. They just handcuffed her. And they took her to the police and they deported her. This is what happened to most women. I'm here in Ghana. My family is far away in Gabon, and I know what it is to be in a foreign country. This is why I'm here. I know what it is to be hungry. I know what it is not to know when the next meal is coming. I know what it is when not to have a shelter or look for a shelter and being desperate. And these women are passing through all these challenges, and they have something in mind that they want to make it. But when they did it, they didn't know what would happen to them. But they find themselves trapped. And as I was saying, it is a way, like a way of non-return. So we see it happening in the life of many migrants. Most women are being prostitutes. Most women are being raped. They are enslaved. And excuse me to say it, I had a testimony of a Cameroonian woman who went to Italy and was enslaved. The man took the passport, held her, and brought men in the house for them to sleep with that woman. Which kind of craziness is that? He brought the woman for something. She thought that she would make it in life, but she was suffering. That woman was held by that man who was manipulating her and using her and dumping her. And he was using that woman to sleep with even animals like horses. This is a testimony, a real testimony of a woman who wanted to make it in life, who thought that going abroad, going overseas would be a better place for her. But this woman was being enslaved. That woman slept with so many women that she got HIV. So this is someone's story. She's sharing this story because that man noticed that the woman has HIV, and he came to the point that he couldn't take care of her. He couldn't handle the sickness and the symptoms. So he went to the beach with her and just abandoned her there, dying. And just someone took the woman, and this is how the story came on WhatsApp and social media, so as to see how to help this woman, or even how to bring her back home, because even the family didn't know where this woman was. So this is what most women are passing through. We think that going abroad is a solution for us, but most of the time it's not a solution for us. And I'd like to say that we are here in Ghana, we are here in Africa. This is a place where we can find everything we want, everything we need. Whatever we need, we can get it here. So I bet you, if you want to travel, think it twice. Prepare. If you want to go, prepare. Because for lack of finances, for lack of one thing or the other, even if you have those finances, you can be duped by someone. You can get lost. You will not have the capacity or the ability to think again because you made the wrong choice. So going abroad is not a solution for some. So the need for wealth and success is about traveling for most people. I have always believed that the need of personal planning is very important. So if a woman wants to travel, they call the woman a weak gender because this is someone who is sensitive. This is a woman this is someone who is moved by her emotion. People say, or they say that women are moved by what they hear. So you can easily talk to a woman and she will just follow you according to what you say. So we have to strengthen ourselves and not believe in everything that people are saying, and believe that where we are, we can make it. And I would say that lately I was reading a book that talks about the subconscious mind. And in that book, the author said that, or even scientists say that 5% of our potential is being used by human beings. But what about the 95%? We have potential in us, we have abilities, we have capacities, we have strength. So we can use those 95% to find what we can do, to find what is lacking in our environment or in our life, so as to create the environment that we are seeking for, that environment that we are looking for by going outside of our country or the place where we were born. So we have to be creative. We have to create a new environment. We have to understand that we have potential and we can do what we can to have it all here and not by going outside. So this is what I have to say today. So, and I will end up by saying that someone said, or let me call that person, he said that Eliza in Ghana can never become a crocodile in US or in London. That means overseas. Who you are today, who you are here, is who you be there. Don't think that because you are here, your life will totally change there. Thank you.
Revolutionary Union. This past couple of days, I had the privilege of attending a Pan-Africanism conference in Winnipeg, where I had the opportunity to meet many, many delegates from African countries all over the continent and throughout the diaspora. I spoke to people from Senegal, from Zambia, from the Democratic Republic of Congo, from Tanzania, also Jamaica, also Haiti. And every single delegate that I spoke to about the issues that they're facing in their country gave the same issues. They talked about education, lack of access to good education, not being able to afford good education, and they talked about employment. And these are the underlying issues that drive women, particularly young women, particularly the age of women up on this panel, to leave their homes in search of more opportunity. Oftentimes they'll move from rural areas to cities in search of employment, but again, even here in Accra, you can see there's most of the employment that occurs here is like self-employment, where folks cannot afford to have additional employees, so that's not an opportunity for a job. Folks go to school and hope of developing skills in order to obtain employment, and again, those jobs are just not there. And so they're forced to move to neighboring African countries and oftentimes to go directly to the US because of these underlying issues of education and employment. And the reason this is happening across the continent, across the diaspora, because again, this is in Africa, it's also in Haiti, it's also in Jamaica, it might be a mix of Honduras, it's the same thing that's happening here, happening there, it's happening in the United States. The reason for this is the system itself, the system of capitalism, and the system of imperialism. Because these Africans, we live in the most resource-rich, most beautiful, the most arable land. Like the places that we live are wealthy, but the people themselves are poor. The people who are getting wealthy from the resources that are in our homes are not the masses of women, it's not young folks. We do not have access to the wealth of our homes. And the reason for that is because we have an economic system which subjugates African countries and Africans, which exploits us for our resources, exploits us for our labor, and does not give us anything in return. So women are forced into these journeys that are, as the panelists described, dangerous, and leave them vulnerable to exploitation. We already talked about the slave trade in Libya. An overwhelming number of the Africans engaged in that trade or are caught up in that trade are from Ghana. Like something like 35,000 Ghanaians are in Libya right now caught up in the slave trade. The same thing with sexual violence, like the journey to go to the United States from Africa or even from Honduras. You're forced to pay men who can easily take advantage of you. Once they have your money, once they have your passport, they can easily manipulate into situations that you cannot control. And these are risks that we would not be taking if we had access to opportunity where we lived. And the reason that we don't have access to opportunity where we live is because we don't have power where we live. And so what we're trying to do with the A-APRP and with the A-AWRU is develop the power of the masses of African people, and particularly African women and African youth. Because as I said, we have everything we need where we are. We have untold riches, untold resources, untold land that we just do not have access to. And so we believe that we have to organize the masses of our people, organize the masses of African women, organize the masses of African youth, organize the masses of African workers to seize that power back, to seize what rightfully belongs to us, and use that for the benefit of our people. The solution that we are advancing is Pan-Africanism, which means one unified socialist Africa. All African countries in the hands of the masses of people living there, controlling their own destinies. And women have an integral role to play in that process. Because under patriarchy, because that's what's happened when women are devalued, when people say that they don't want women for jobs, when women are treated as sexual objects and are left up to exploitation, what is happening is a patriarchal system, but just by capitalism. And so what we are saying is that in order to destroy that system, we have to build the power of African women. We have to realize as African women that we have the capacity and the skill to contribute to our own liberation. We just need to be organized, we just need to be engaged in political work, and we have a place in that work. It's a very intentional process to sort of like counter all the messaging we're hearing that we're not worthy, that we don't have value, that we don't have a place in the revolution. It's the fight against that, and to show that this battle cannot be won for the liberation of Africa without African women. So yeah, like the underlying problem is capitalism. The underlying problem is imperialism. The underlying problem is that African people, particularly African women, do not have power where we live, and we must build that power through organization and through the struggle to build Pan-Africanism. And the last thing I want to say is, again, we're seeing this problem wherever we exist in the world, in Africa, all over Africa, where my family lives in Honduras, even the United States. People hear all sorts of stories here about the United States, about the opportunity that exists there and in Europe. But right now, we have a rising fascist movement in the United States. We have rising fascist movements in Europe. We have an incredible amount of antipathy towards immigrants. And so when folks even make it through that journey, when women even make it through all the danger to get to those places, they find they're not, what they were hoping to find is not there. The opportunity does not exist there anymore. And so as the sisters from Cameroon said, it's better to build here where you are, where you have this wealth, where you have your culture, where you have your community, where you have a base to build from, than it is to seek out something that doesn't exist overseas anymore. So again, the solution to the problems facing African women is Pan-Africanism, is to build the power of African women, is to find our place in the struggle, to build Pan-Africanism, and to destroy capitalism and imperialism once and for all.
I think today nobody should smile. What I'm hearing, I feel like crying. People is something I can even, it's my name, from Benin. In Benin we speak French as official language and I speak English as second language. Is Lizzie around? Lizzie, do you think women are suffering?
No, I am suffering because I was pushed through marriage, and for the past 16 years, kitchen has been my office. out loud. I'm suffering because I went through female genital mutilation and I have experienced worse situation during childbirth, sexual intercourse, and even my menstrual cycle. Wait.
I am suffering because I was promised some teaching job overseas. I went there and saw myself in a different situation. Can you even imagine? I now clean toilets and floors of people's homes. I scrub some disgusting, uninviting, dreadful and horrendous bathrooms of some disagreeable fellows. I'm compelled to eat meals that make me feel nauseous after 2 swallows. I have become a slave because they treat and use me as and when they like. These sacrilegious people, they have a liver colors. They are black and white. They make me confused sometimes. Their skin is fair, but they are dark-hearted.
I, Mandika, have suffered. I was raped by 4 men when I was only 9. I have never liked men because of my past experience. I only plead to be pardoned for my undesirable behavior towards men. I nearly got mentally derailed because my case was a brutal one. I have suffered indeed. As if that one was not enough, at my first job interview right after my service, Mr. Jones started making advances. I didn't concur, so I wasn't given the job, even though I asked myself, is it because of my curvaceous stature? Again, I asked myself, is it that the female employees went through this before they got the job?
And I am suffering because anytime I step out of my home, I'm expected to return with money or food for the family. They know I don't have a job, but they don't care. Now I see 2 options looking in my face. Number 1 is to attract men to me. Number 2 is to steal. Should I choose any? Which I feel like going for the first one. But is it worth it? Please help me.
I came to Ghana to study the bilingual administrative management. When I completed, I was looking for a job. I started looking for a job. And I came across this job where I was wanted to interview. During the interview, the director of the company was present. He was a man. He asked me a lot of questions. I can remember 2. First, do you like traveling? I said, oh yes, sir, I like traveling. In fact, traveling is one of my hobbies. And he said, okay, are you ready for the second question? Yes. If you travel with your boss, he's a man. You travel with me, and we arrived in the night. And we got to the hotel. There is only 1 room available for 2 of us. What will you do? This is a question. Is there anyone here who would like to put himself in my shoes? If you were in my shoes, what would you have replied? I just want 1 person. You have gone to an interview and then they ask you, your boss, and I prefer a female to answer me this question. If you and your boss travel, he's a man, and you have to sleep in the same hotel room with him, what will you do? What will you say?
Sure, I'll sleep with the knife.
Alright, I told him, Mister, if you employ me as an official and an administrative officer in your company, and we have to travel, I have to book for the hotel before we move. So there could be no way that we get there before there will be only 1 room available for us. He said, no. We want a situation where there is an emergency and we have to travel and we have the program to return by the same day, but this change over there, then we have to look for another hotel quickly. So what will you do? I said, No father, sir. In every hotel there is security. So you alone will sleep in the room and I will spend the night at the reception or at the restaurant. That's not. And nevertheless, I was granted and I got the job. When I got the job, on Monday, in the office, he said we would introduce ourselves. So he introduced me to the staff. He introduced himself that he is a married man with 2 children and they are all in UK. The secretary introduced herself and she said she is single, but she is from Nigeria. And I said, okay. So likewise, others introduced themselves. On Tuesday when I got to the office, I didn't see the secretary. So I asked, I called the boss and I said, sir, the secretary, I think she's late today. And he said, oh no, I was waking her up this morning and she refused to wake up. She was yawning, so I left her and I come to the office. I said, I didn't say, but I don't get it because he's a married man, so how can he be waking up the secretary this morning? Thursday night, around 9 p.m., I received a call from my boss. And he says, Tiffany, tomorrow morning, we are going to see a client. So meet me at Circle. And I said, okay, but it says 6 a.m. But we start at 8 a.m. So why 6 a.m.? So, we have to meet the person very early. This one is very important and urgent. I said, okay. In the morning before I moved, I called him. And I said, where exactly are we going? He said, Kumasi. So at that time, I thought Kumasi is like Madina to Accra. So I took only my hands back. When I got to Circle, because you know I'm from Benin, so I don't really notice it. So when I got to Circle, I saw that he was with his suitcase. And there was long buses. I said, please, are we traveling? He said, but we will return today. I didn't say anything. So I followed him. We didn't even leave there early. We left there very late. So we sat in the bus. In the bus, he asked me, do you have any money on you? I said, I was only 30 cedis with me at that time, so I gave him 20 cedis. But I don't understand how my boss would borrow money from me right now. But I didn't say anything. Later on, when we started the journey, he asked me, do you have any credit on your phone? I said, okay, I said yes, I have some small credit. So I gave him my phone and he finished all my credits. We started the journey. And now, 2 hours. I said, the place is too far. When are we getting? Oh, we get there right now. At that time, night started falling. And I said, 3 hours later, I said, so we've never come to the place. When are we getting to the place? He said, don't worry, we'll get there right now. I said, please, I don't have, at this time, what do we do? Because the night is coming. He said, if we don't come back today, then we will come tomorrow. And I said, well now, he told me before that we will come back today. But now he changed again. So if you don't come today, we will come tomorrow. I don't know what to do. I told him, since I take only my bag, I don't have any dress on me. I didn't take any additional dress. He said, don't worry, I'll buy you dress from a boutique. At this time, I didn't say anything. I followed him 4 hours, even more than 4 hours, and then we arrived. When we arrived, we went to a communication center for flyers and all that. Later on, we went to a hotel. In the hotel, we ate food. After the food, I saw him going to the reception, and when he came back, he said, "Fifame, there is only one room available for you and I. All the other rooms are booked already." I don't know what to do. Immediately, I remember that interview. I told him so. I was very angry in myself, but just told him so. Yes, can you sleep in the room? I will stay here. When daybreak, you will finish what you are going to do. You will see the clients, and we will return to Accra. He said, no, it can't happen. No, how will you talk like that? So, wait for me a minute, I'm coming. He spent about 5 minutes, and he came back. When he came back, he said, okay, we have 2 options. There is another hotel in the other junction, on the other junction, and we can get 2 rooms there. Or, I have a friend who has a house, and he will give us, he can give us 1 room. He can give me 1 room and give you 1 room. So, choose one. I said, let's go to the other hotel. He said, okay. We left the hotel. He called a taxi. And we started going. I thought we are going to the other hotel, just across the street or the next junction. We were just going. And we were on a dirt road first. And later on, we came on a rough road. From the rough road, we entered the bush. It's already late. Everywhere was dark. We were in the bush, we were just going. I was so scared. I was asking myself, where is it taking me to? I hope this thing is not a kidnapping. I hope it's not going to kill me. I hope it's not going to rape me. A lot of things were coming to my mind. God, I started praying. God save me. Because of Job, God save me. I started praying. But before I started praying, seriously, I was afraid. My hands was cold. My hands became cold. So cold. All my legs became cold in the car. And my legs were shaking. I don't know what to do. He has finished all my credits. I said, God, is that the reason why? Is that the reason why he finished my credit? Is that the reason why he wanted to take all the money I was having? God, what is going to happen to me? And I started praying. God save me. Jesus save me. Full of fear. My hands cold. My legs cold. Please, if you'd like to know the rest of my story, kindly contact me at the end of this program. Thank you.
That's powerful, y'all. Wasn't that powerful? So we want to ask you all to do 2 things. First, if you're able, we want to ask you to stand up and give our appreciation to our youth for our president. Can we do that? Can we show our youth we love them? We want them to hear us tonight as the father, y'all. Come on, y'all. Let's give it up for them. Let's give it up for them. That's powerful. That's power, y'all. And then second, if you can stay standing, we want to give the same love to our 4 wonderful presenters here. That was powerful. Let's show them we appreciate it. All right. So we're going to have a few minutes. You can sit now. Thank you. We're going to have a few minutes of questions. But, you know, we have to remind you, like, we're for socialism. So that means it can't just be what you have to say. We got to share this time, right? Y'all understand that, right? So we heard great presentations. We don't need any more presentations from the audience. If you have a comment, turn to the person next to you and say, everybody here is important. All right. So we're going to give you 2 minutes. And if you can't tell time, I'm going to help you. All right. Going to give you 2 minutes to make your comment or question or whatever you have. And then we're going to move on because we have a lot of program left for you and we want to give everybody a chance. Is that fair? Is that all right? All right, anybody ready? Anyone have a comment or question for our presenters? Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. Yeah, my name is Emmanuel Bonyo. When the first presenter was saying that Ghana is male-dominated, but I beg to differ. The ladies are more than we are. So I would say that mostly the ladies are their own devils, just put it that way. Because if one of the ladies here said there was genital mutilation, who are those who perpetrate that? Is it not the women who say they are following tradition?
No, it's not.
Who does it?
The men.
The men cuts the clitoris? Please, sorry. It's the women who administrates that evil.
They want you to speak. Women's event, women's power.
Hi everyone, my name is Ayoko and I also beg to differ. I think that what you are doing here is mansplaining, and so it's almost as if you are telling us how to feel what we feel, or you want to tell us our experiences, but it's our experiences, it's our stories, we feel it, we experience it, and we can tell it better than any other person. And so, yeah, thank you.
Who else? Yeah, think through your comments, brothers, before you make them. Okay, think about it.
I got a comment from my parents.
So what I meant by Ghana being a male-dominated country is that it's patriarchal. We give positions to men, we give favors to men, we want men to be at the top. Before a lady is really accepted or is being given the opportunity to climb through the ladders, the lady has really suffered. If you relate to it, if you reveal to yourself, you would know. Yeah, you're an end, right? And so you know.
But if you come together, women come together.
No speeches, no speeches.
So you have to speak with every woman that is offering a job to. I think that was for somebody from the United States to say that. My niece was here with a medical doctor. She was furious. Another thing is that the United States, I can talk about the United States, but that's what I mean. It's not a melting pot. I lived there. I was only there for 4 years going to school. I finished school. I started practicing there, and I finally came home for 4 years. But it is not the melting pot. The United States, if politicians here in Africa can get their hearts together, can put the money, the resources where it belongs, we have to go to Europe. Now we can't Mediterranean Sea. But things are happening in this continent that are not supposed to be happening. I always refer to the port. I know once I pay for my car to get out of the port, that is $6,000 US. Where the money goes, it's a free money. They should be borrowing money from China or the United States or the World Bank or the international MF. That's what we call it, international MF. We never know MF means, So they should be borrowing money and the value of money. So the grassroots, the people who are here today, the young people, you have to find a way to stage what you call mass protection on a daily basis. That's the only way changes can come. And you force this government to make changes, necessary changes that
You got 10 seconds.
Okay. Necessary changes that are meaningful to every African. So, thank you.
All right. So yes, thank you, women. I don't know if I'm giving the mic to any more men. I'm sorry. We'll see how it goes.
So thank you to all the panelists. Thank you. Each of you had a great presentation and I enjoyed it very much. I have 2 questions and again it's on each of you, right? The first one is, one of you mentioned that a lot of Ghanaian women are self-employed, and then the last presentation was about gaining employment or the struggle to find reliable or even just valid employment, right? So how do Ghanaian women, I know the research, right, I would like to hear your explanation of this to the audience as well. How do Ghanaian women balance that? You know, when you come out of school, is it the first, or when you have the opportunity to go to university and you graduate, is it the first encouragement for you to start your own business, or are you encouraged to go to somebody's office and try and get a job over there? And where do you think the future should be? Because I support self-employment, of course, but it's also benefits in having a job that pays well. There is stability in that. So that's the first question, self-employment versus employed. And the second question is, you mentioned your story was very powerful, so thank you for sharing that. But it also touches on something that is really, it's a huge problem in all Ghanaian spaces, right? Sexual harassment in the workplace, or even just sexual violence in general all around the country. So again, to all the panel members, what is the situation with the civil society and how are we moving towards laws or even just regulations that protect the rights of interest groups, especially women, in the workspace?
So about employment, I would advise that right after school you could try and get a job so that you earn capital for your business and also earn knowledge about your business, because we are having a lot of issues nowadays where we're having startups facing a lot of issues and problems because they don't have experience and also enough funds, so they end up going for loans. That's a lot of things. But then for a female, you should work on yourself, develop yourself. You understand? Ghana now is quite open. They are open to accepting women now. So it's better, it's getting better. The government is putting more incentives for people, for companies who are employing fresh graduates because there are tax exemptions for that, and also for companies that are putting women up there. You understand? So you leverage on that, develop yourself so well that you wouldn't have a man tell you that he will sleep with you before your employees because he knows that he needs you for the job because you are so fit, you are so perfect for the job. You understand? So you leverage on these things that are in society and also try and improve yourself. But then I also encourage self-employment. It's good to be an entrepreneur. I love women who are like that. But then you have to gain knowledge and experience and also capital so that you don't depend on a man or depend on somebody else. You understand? For money or for something else, because for you to build an empire, you need really serious knowledge and experience in that.
I'd like to add something after what she said. In my country, for example, our former president's wife, we as passed on, had an initiative. She created a platform where women will acquire skills and will not be dependent on either their certificates or any other thing. But she made it an open platform for every level in the society. So everyone had access to more education and to learn about new skills or acquire more skills. So this has been a way of adding or putting something new in women's life. And most women who participate to it, they are making it in life today. Most of them have businesses. Most of them can provide for their families now. And this is what has come out from them. And today, they are able to impact other women who were not part of it. It's like, I receive something and I give it to other people who don't have it. And this is what they are doing. And they are making it because they have learned new things that they didn't know before. And that has been a plus in the economy and in their lives.
Alright, thank you. I don't have much to add. The only thing that she was asking whether we should go for job. Well, I would say yes. I don't know, how can you get experience? So the only thing I can say is that when we go to the interview, from my experience, we should check the questions they are asking us to see whether this company is a genuine one or not. Thank you.
First, I think it's important to talk about the nature of the self-employment that most Ghanaian women have access to, and that's like if you see a woman with a basket on her head full of water, like that's a form of self-employment. The folks that are selling things on the roadside, like that's typically that's the majority of my understanding of the self-employment that's available to women and to youth in Ghana, and that is it's not sustainable within this system in which you would need a lot of capital to start a business. Like you are selling water by the roadside, the chances are you're not going to hire someone, you're not going to make enough money to pay someone else. So that doesn't really represent a means of getting out of poverty or a means of acquiring capital. The underlying problem again is the system itself, which in a country that has vast amounts of natural resources, the people that live there don't have access to it. So we have to look at not just building businesses as a solution to poverty for women, but also fighting against the system itself, which puts us in this position of exploitation, which forces us to seek these menial jobs and to travel for miles in order to find opportunity. And then to the second question, it's just a fact that no matter where women exist, whether it's in the workplace, whether it's at school, whether it's even in political organizations, whether it's in transit, we are subjected to sexual harassment, we are subjected to exploitation. We are forced to deal with this from our brothers and from our husbands and from just random men, and that's just kind of a reality of being a woman everywhere. And to me, the solution to that is to build the power of women in political organizations, to build political organizations that are run by and led by women, for us to assert ourselves as a force, to say that if you mess with one of us, you mess with all of us, to say that these are the ways that you're going to engage us, you're going to treat us with respect, you are not going to treat us like sexual objects, you are not going to make advances upon us, because if you do so, there will be consequences. In order for us to enforce those consequences, in order for us to enforce these boundaries and these rules about engaging us, we need to have political organization for women, autonomous political organizations for women.
All right, so why don't we take one more comment and then we're gonna.
Hi, so I'm just going to say that I am grateful for this space, and I think that we need to create more Pan-African spaces around here, because if you ask me, a lot of the things are happening because we don't know who we are as Black people, we don't know who we are as Black women. Most what we have now as our culture is just things that have been negotiated during colonization and stuff. And so we don't know who we truly are. I was in an all-girls school in high school, and I'm telling you, when I came out, I realized that it's trash, being miseducated, and I can imagine how many more people went through it before me, and how many more people are going through it after me. I think that we need to create more Pan-African spaces. We need to get into our history, get to know who we are exactly, and then we can empower ourselves to do better as Black people.
Let's give it up for our panel and our youth again. All right. Brothers, we got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of work to do. All right, so now.
So let's go. Free the African women. Build the A-APRP. 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 Free the African women. Thank you very much. Now I feel the fire. Now I feel the fire.
Leader of maroon slave revolts in Cuba, and the Cuban operation to fight in Angola in the 80s and 90s was named after her. Carlota!
Now, my second question was, they played the song. If you were not here, you can't be able to tell. So they played the song, and I want you to give me the name of the person who made that song. What song? CK Man. CK Man. Wait, 4 answers. Not Drew or Mjiba. Not Drew. Okay, but he said it first. CK Man. Okay, so we have 2 answers. We'll decide on that, okay? I want
to introduce our special guest here, Nana Hima of Doma. I'll leave her to do her introduction. She's going to round up all that we have said. From there, we can go ahead with the pieces. You ready, right? Good.
Wonderful, wonderful. It's really great to be here today. I'm very excited. Usually, to be honest with you, I haven't been to that many Pan-Africanist for personal reasons. And I guess today the feelings almost just came back to me. I don't know, but as an African woman, there's a certain sense of, I'm sorry to use this word, it's not a nice word to use, a certain sense of hopelessness that engulfs me when we discuss the African situation. Especially now, more so today. When we enumerate the opportunities and the resources and what we have as Africans and where we stand in the world. I heard a video that a Nigerian was trying to tell another Nigerian colleague that they are in Ghana and saying, shame catch me. Have you seen that video? When you hear some of these things and you keep listening to the same things over and over, shame really catches you. And as an African person, you don't really know what to do. Especially when you can feel it. I've done programs in schools for years. I've worked with young people. When I see those young girls that were sitting here, my heart feels, I'm happy in my spirit and in my soul. That is the only way we can save the situation. Some of you, yes, I think you are still quite young. But those of us standing here, it's a shame that we're going to leave Africa the way it is. The same discussions that were held those days when Nkrumah was alive, even before, if you listen to everything, these discussions were there over decades now. And we are still standing here. And the situation is worse. Colonialism, all these statements that we keep saying, is that a real problem now? If we go that route, we won't end it. Trust me. The problem here is that we need to have a solution. We just need to get to the point and say, yes, this is what we have. We need to change it. And how are we going to change it? Are we going to call the gospel? Are we going to go to where? But something must happen. If something doesn't happen, we are going to constantly have a situation where people come from all over the world. They come and they empathize with us because they are also blacks like us. But when you are an African woman here with a passion that want to see a change, it is not easy to discuss it. It's not. Especially if you have made your own personal contribution as a person. You know, in other parts of the world, one person can actually make a difference. One person can start something, others can follow. In this part of the world, that is very difficult. Yet one person must start. And where does that one person start from? We're talking about migration. Even if you read about the United Nations, they believe that at a point, and I can understand them though, that migration is a way to help the African woman or the Africans become economically emancipated in a way that they can really build their capacity and be able to get some remittances back to their countries to save the poor people who are in the villages and their children who can get good education and water and clothing and all the nice basic, I won't even use the word nice, and all the basic things that are needed to survive. So when I come here, I can talk to young people, but I'm not even going to advise anybody, don't go nowhere. What are you going to tell them? That when an opportunity comes for you to travel, don't go? No, it won't work. What we can do is create the opportunity so there's no need. I've gone around schools asking young people, How many of you, when you get to the US or when you get anywhere, everybody's hand will be up? I did the same thing in the US. And some even asked me where, Ghana. They didn't know what I was talking about. They didn't know what I was talking about, where Ghana is. They'll say Ghana. So the points I'm making is, do they want to really travel here? No. People want to come here and have fun. They want to come here vacation. They want to come here and work with us on a different level. But they don't want to come here and make income and go back unless the person is an entrepreneur or somebody that wants to come in here and exploit the situation and take our goals and things with us. But who is to be blamed? Is it the colonial pastors? No. We can't keep blaming them. We can't. As long as we keep blaming, we will never find the answers. The answer is not there. It's about you and I. We need to pick the right leaders. We need to have vision. We need to have leaders who can make a major change. Not leaders who just make cosmetic changes here and there because they're also caught up in a system, in a structure that won't change. We need to change from somewhere. Let me tell you the few little things that I can tell a young person. Traveling isn't going to solve the problem. That I can tell you. I've been in the US for years. But then how can I tell you don't go? Because at the time that I left because my husband had gone there. I didn't go there for economic reasons, for me to be honest with you, because I've always been a business person. When you're a businesswoman, not necessarily like she was really rightfully saying, our sweet lady here, when you carry ice water and things, you can't make it. You can't even feed your own self. So you can't even hire one more person. But that's not what we're talking about. But if you can create jobs, when you can create an income for yourself, there's so many opportunities there. But it's not everybody who is an entrepreneur, who is a business person. Some people are going to be nurses, doctors, lawyers, accountants, teachers, and they also have dreams. And they can't live their dreams here. So what are we going to do? The only thing I can do is advise any young woman, if you have kids, please see if you can make opportunity here and create something for yourself and for them. Just look around. But what else can we do after advising them? There's not much you can do. I don't know how many of you used to watch that video with some girls who I think were in some part of Dubai or UA, somewhere. And they were lying there, they were crying, they were weeping, they were screaming, they were pleading with us to go and make sure that whoever the organizers of the program that took them to those countries, I would watch the video and then what can I do? I don't even know a phone call to call. And even if you did, where do you find them? So for me, I am a practical person. I'm a queen mother, and I've also stood with the party. I was called and I became the vice presidential candidate for CPP, which is Nkrumah's party. Okay, so for me, I believe in making changes that really happen. So as I stand here, we have designed an app that by the end of this month, when it comes out, will solve a lot of the African issue, especially Ghana issue. I wouldn't give you so much, but that's not why I'm here. But for you that are traveling outside, please, it's called Find Me. Next month, just look for Find Me on Google Play Store and see what energy within 5 years have been put in a system that we believe that we can use to mobilize and organize and get to people and be able to work with ourselves. The Ghanaian, the African in Cameroon, the African, where are you from, my dear sister? In Gabon, the African from Cameroon, the Ghanaians living in my village, the Ghanaians back in the diasporan American that wants to support, but wants to make sure that he's helping and supporting the right people for the right things and the right person. We have solved the problem. Not just to bring money for people to enrich themselves. There are people with good hearts. We know all these Americans and other people who are here today are here because they care. It's as simple as that. They are here because they care. But in as much as you come and live, there's a certain sense, for me, I'll be honest, certain sense of hopelessness. Just as a human being, you don't have to feel hopeless. You have to always lift yourself up as an American. I mean, that's what the American believe in, isn't it? Yes, you have to always be looking up and smiling when even things are not really working the way it is. I remember I saw an ad in the US that said, It was about, sure, this lady that was sweating with all over, and you can see the mark of the sweat, and it says, even when you sweat, don't let them see you sweat. I think that is so nice. So for me, we need to lift ourselves up. We need to lift ourselves up as Ghanaians, as Africans. We must touch it. We can't even believe that today here you are sitting here talking about people dying in the desert. Most of the people dying in the desert are from my area. They are from the Doma, Hiko, Brekum, and indeed they are from my village. Those boys who died on their way to Libya, they are from my village. And I remember having a discussion with a friend who says, Anna, why are you worrying about these things? Who asked them to travel? And I said, my God, you don't understand. What are the opportunities that we're giving the young people? At least in the US, a young person can go and work in McDonald's and be flipping beggar. That's a choice in an air-conditioned area. And be flipping beggar, that's a choice that he has. What can the Ghanaian boy do here? After selling the scorching sun, he doesn't even make enough. So when he's able to do anything, the only thing he can do is save that money and get it and get out of here. As quickly as that money can take him. And fine, and if he dies in the desert, he feels it's even better for him. But at least he's trying doing something than sit here and have no sense, no hope. So we can't even blame young people, we can't even advise young people. I can advise anybody. Education, yes. So thank God we now are continuing with Nkrumah's ideals of giving policy education, free education through SS and up there. Hopefully more people will educate. But is that the real solution? No. We still have a lot of graduates who are suffering. The solution is leadership. That is the solution. It is a certain belief system and know that we are capable of doing it. And once you believe you are capable, that's when you have the answers. That's when you find the solution. But there's nothing written anywhere. Nobody has the answers. Nobody. It's not there. The answers are here within us. It is we have created the problem so we can solve them. We just have to know that this solution, the problems in Ghana, is a Ghana-made problem and it needs Ghana-made solutions. It's what will come from being here. We need to signage with everybody. We need to take and work in some way with people outside. But the problem in Africa is African problem. It's such a sad thing when you open the radio, you hear Trump talking and you hear people calling Ghana all kinds of names and Africa all kinds of names, and people come in and you cannot even say anything because you see the problem yourself. Please God, we've all been created in the image of the Almighty God, and that means that within all of us is this power to be able to solve our problems, especially the problems that we ourselves have created. I thank you all for this program. It is a program for us all to look into our eyes and look into our spirits and know that the vision, the hopelessness is still there. We know there's a problem, but we can make it work. And we have people all across the world who have the spirits and the heart to see Africa work. What are we going to do as Africans here? To be able to leverage on this energy that's coming from all over the place. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate you.
Thank you very much, Nana Hima Odoma. And on behalf of A-APRP, that's the All African People's Revolutionary Party, and A-AWRU, All African Women's Revolutionary Union, we want to present this token of appreciation to you. And I want you to understand that A-APRP is a community-based organization, so we don't get funds from the government, so we don't get funds or grants from anywhere. We do our funding ourselves, and we are so happy presenting this letter talking to you for honoring our invitation. Once again, thank you.
All right, how's everybody doing? Oh, sorry, just ignore that.
The woman sing.
We would like to call Sister Anita Akomwa from Economic Fighters League. Sister Anita, thank you.
So a couple of acknowledgements we need to make here today. The first one is, with all due respect to our esteemed sister, speaker, those of us that are here, that live in the United States, we are not Americans. We want you all to live here and understand that clearly. We are not Americans. We are at war against America. We're trying to bring down the American empire. So we want to be honest with you and tell you that. We are not Americans. We are not Bill Cosby. We are trying to destroy the plantation in America. So y'all need to understand that. Anybody confused about that? Because we can say more about it. Don't call me an American. That's not what I am. I'm trying to destroy the plantation in America. I've never been an American. I never will be one. I am an African. That's what I am. All right? So let's clarify that with all due respect. And then, just so you all understand, the All-African People's Revolutionary Party, this is the 50th year since Kwame Nkrumah wrote the Handbook of Revolutionary Warfare. We use the Handbook of Revolutionary Warfare as our guide to bring about Pan-Africanism. It's our strategy to make it happen. And if you read the handbook, and I know everybody here has read it several times, so when you've read it, you already know that in the handbook, Nkrumah calls for the unification of all African revolutionary political parties in Africa. Is that right or wrong? And those parties unite into one entity, the All-African Committee for Political Coordination. So our work over the last several decades has been engaging in the unification of those revolutionary African parties. So we're fortunate to have one of those revolutionary parties here with us today, and we want to acknowledge some of the esteemed comrades that we have here today. So we want to ask you to give a lot of enthusiasm in welcoming. First, we want to welcome Sister, and please forgive me if I mispronounce the names. I told you the master took my tongue in America. So I'm doing the best I can, so please forgive me. But we want to acknowledge first our sister Bellamy Naya Nanashi, who is the General Secretary of UDEMU, which is the Democratic Union of Guinea-Bissau Women. She is also on the political bureau of the Central Committee, you all, of the African Party for the Independence of Guinea-Bissau, the PAIGC, which is one of the revolutionary parties, which is the governing party in Guinea-Bissau. So let's give it up for our esteemed sister right here. Viva! Viva PAIGC! Viva UDEMU! Viva God! And so we have other comrades. We have our young comrade here, Sigunda Indami, who is involved with the Amilcar Cabral African Youth, or JOC, Amilcar Cabral Political Ideological School of the PAIGC. Let's give it a, y'all can do better than that now. Come on. Right. And finally, we have our brother Lamine Sussy Jr., who is National President of Amilcar Cabral African Youth in Guinea-Bissau and the Jurisdiction Fiscal Council of the African Party for the Independence of Guinea-Bissau. We are one. We are one with PAIGC. These are our comrades. These are our family. You are our family. Trump and those people, we're trying to drive them in the ocean. Don't call me no American. All right? Now that we got that straight, we got, where is Brother Trigger? We're going to have some revolutionary presentation here. Revolutionary work from our comrade, Brother Trigger. Y'all know Brother Trigger? He's going to come over here and share some time with us. So let's give him a big round of applause. He's waiting patiently. Thank you.
Forward ever.
Backward never.
Forward ever.
Backward never.
You know, man, I come on time. I come on terror when I'm standing all around and I'm standing for them bomb buckler. So yeah, man. I was the righteousness of our class now, which is all our way, and us African will rise. African will rise and the enemies will scatter. Tell the Babylon now if you come in our we corner. We burn them fire every day, every hour. And in this time we never gonna follow. All of them are in a dirties. So we coming out a real, tell them fire can cool. We bust it up alone and no dirties. And we shining so bright like the star in the skies. African sun will say none no dirties. Yeah, when you say bad, say me. When you say me, say bad, say me. Yeah man, man I come and terrible. And music is my tool after the struggle. So when I'm going to trigger the nature one, big up. Yo, come on.
I used to at the end of the road. Keep moving, you can weather the storm. And not for all, are you unstoppable? Are you unstoppable? Are you unstoppable? Stay strong, I'ma say you unstoppable. Are you unstoppable? Africans, we are unstoppable. Yellow. I'ma say, some reason never shut me. Bullet never matter me. Who them track me. Even when they eat it, then the parasite chop me. I never feel a muscle, I see I guide me. I am a boss, you make them sit down and chop me. Wanna see the general from so running. Call me say man, a liar in a heart, an African in a heart. All of we is a body to let me know. Even when you fool your road once a time, I you stuck at the end of the road. Keep on moving, you go weather the storm. Brother, no for all. Cause you unstoppable. Are you unstoppable? Are you unstoppable? Hey, Africa, stay strong. Because it's all the way to the bad man, unstoppable. Are we unstoppable? Are we unstoppable? Yeah. From the altar to the mosque, let us see it in my loss. When man them a just say they check man, me go be lost. Man you go side me, keep a in my road and know me top. Tell me tell the bad mind that me coming on my front. Man a solid as a frog and none them can stop. We moving up a high African on the front. Some money Babylon who them there will back up and me say, oh nah. Even when you're broke up on some time, and you stuck at the end of the road. You keep moving and you weather the storm. And not for all, are you unstoppable? Are you unstoppable? Are you unstoppable? Stay strong, Taliban, are you unstoppable? Are you unstoppable? Are we unstoppable?
The General Secretary of UDEMU to give us some comments, her comments. So let's invite the General Secretary, Biloni Ihama. Yeah, sorry about the pronunciation. Okay, so let's give it up. Let's give it up.
Queria falar em dialeto, mas parece que não vou falar em português porque há muita gente que vai perceber. Primeiramente, peço a permissão para falar em nome da delegação da Guiné-Bissau, do Partido Africano Independência da Guiné-Cabo Verde, criado pelo camarada Amílcar Lopes Cabral, dia 19 de setembro de 1956.
If people with your permission, instead of speaking in the Portuguese language that came from the colonizer, I would like to speak in our local dialect, which is called Creole, in Guinea-Bissau. I would like to bring my reverential greetings to you to say that we want to say just a little bit about the PAIGC, which was founded by Comrade Amílcar Cabral on the 19th of September, 1956.
E penso eu que antes de continuar, devo fazer a apresentação da delegação da Guiné-Bissau. Na delegação da Guiné-Bissau estou eu, Biloni Nhamaranta Mbanhase, militante do PAIGC, membro do Bureau Político e secretária-geral da UDEMU.
There is a delegation here with us today from the PAIGC, and I am Engineer Biloni Nyama Nantama Nyasi. I'm the leader of this delegation. I'm joined with other comrades from the PAIGC.
E temos o camarada Imani Naumoja, membro do PAIGC, ele é do Comitê Central e veio conosco nessa delegação.
Comrade Bolani is a member of the Political Bureau of the Central Committee of the PAIGC, along with Comrade Edutainment Mawuli, who is talking right here on the microphone, who is a member of the Central Committee of the PAIGC.
Temos o camarada Lamine Cissé Júnior, é do PAIGC, e militante da Juventude Africana Amílcar Cabral, já.
We also with Comrade Lamine Cissé Jr., who is there with the striped shirt on. He's a militant of the PAIGC, and he's a leader of the A-APRP African League, the youth wing of the PAIGC.
Temos a nossa mais nova da delegação, segunda Endami, do PAIGC e do Jacques.
We're also with the youngest one in our delegation, which is Comrade Segunda Ndami. She's a militant of the PAIGC and a militant of the youth wing of the PAIGC, the A-APRP African Youth, and a member of the party school.
Estamos aqui em nome da República da Guiné-Bissau. Como vocês sabem, Amílcar Cabral organizou a luta de libertação para dois países, Guiné-Bissau e Cabo Verde, num só partido político.
We are in the PAIGC, but in the delegation of the Republic of Guinea-Bissau. As many of you know, some don't, Amílcar Cabral started a revolutionary party to liberate two countries, two colonies at the same time, Guinea-Bissau and Cape Verde.
E Amílcar Cabral, quando organizou a luta de libertação, criou a organização de mulheres, criou a organização dos trabalhadores. Portanto, ele sempre dizia que a luta da Guiné-Bissau é uma luta imposta pelo colonialismo português, porque invadiu o território da Guiné-Bissau.
After organizing the party, Comrade Amílcar Cabral later organized the women's wing, the Democratic Union of Guinean Women, in 1961 in Conakry, and also organized the Workers' Union, because the PAIGC is a workers' party as well in Conakry. To make sure that we have our masses organized to struggle against the imposition the colonialism imposed on our people.
Cabral dizia, as crianças são as flores da nossa luta e a razão do nosso combate. O que é que ele queria dizer com isso? Porque em 1965, no mês de março, dia 15 de março de 1965, em Conakry, abriu uma escola que reunia quase todos os meninos que estavam nas zonas libertárias para poderem ser preparados para ir estudar fora do país.
During the course of the armed struggle, Amílcar Cabral and the party organized, after the first Congress of the party, organized what they call a pilot school in Conakry, where they would take the best students out of the boarding schools in the liberated zones and bring them to Conakry to train them.
E se estamos a falar de Amílcar Cabral, é porque é uma panafricanista. Dentro do panafricanismo, temos Kwame Nkrumah, temos o Sékou Touré e muitos outros, como o caso de Patrício Lumumba, Nelson Mandela. Temos vários africanos que são cabeça mesmo, bem preparados para defender o continente africano.
Amílcar Cabral said that our children are the flowers of our struggle. The flowers of the struggle and the reason that we combat. And Amílcar Cabral is a great Pan-Africanist. We know the great Pan-Africanists of Kwame Nkrumah, Sékou Touré, Patrice Lumumba, Nelson Mandela, and others. But we want you to know Amílcar Cabral is a great Pan-Africanist.
E portanto, se ele criou a Organização das Mulheres, a Guiné-Bissau está dentro do continente africano. Se estamos a falar de pan-africanistas, as mulheres da Guiné-Bissau são pan-africanistas e, portanto, saudamos fortemente esta conferência de hoje.
So we want you to know that Amílcar Cabral is a Pan-Africanist, the PAIGC is a Pan-Africanist party, and the women in the Union, Democratic Union Guinea Women, are Pan-Africanist women, and that's why we salute this Pan-African Women's Day that you are holding today.
Estamos a falar da camada feminina. Acabamos de discutir tema ali de feminismo. As mulheres em toda a parte do mundo são iguais. Não importa o país e a cor de pele. Portanto, com isso eu quero dizer que todas as mulheres do mundo têm um problema comum. E, portanto, vamos nos unir para lutar contra o capitalismo e o imperialismo. As mulheres vão conseguir lutando unidas.
We want you to know we understand that the reason we're here today is because our women are oppressed all over the world. We have our three types of oppression that women are confronted with, so we have to struggle 3 times as hard. And we know that we will win the struggle because the women are courageous, the women must be organized, and we must fight against this oppression everywhere we are.
Eu vou terminar aqui. Com isso, saúdo fortemente e agradeço o povo de Ghana pelo acolhimento e a organização desta terceira conferência.
So we're going to stop here. Just in a few words, we want to give you encouragement and say that we must join together to unite all over the world to fight against our common oppressors, and we know that we will win. We understood the revolutionary feminist struggle. We're not this bourgeois feminist struggle. We're the revolutionary feminist struggle, and we must be organized to win. We thank you for your work, and we give you all encouragement and much success. We will win.
Ainda vou gritar. Viva Ghana!
Viva!
Viva Ghana!
Viva!
Viva Guiné-Bissau!
Viva!
Viva África!
Viva!
Viva toda a parte do mundo! Viva as mulheres!
Viva!
Excuse me, I left out the most important part. We will win in our struggle against capitalism, against imperialism, and want you to know that we women of Guinea, the PAIGC are one of the founders of the Pan-Africanist Women's Organization in 1962, even before the OEU and all these other organizations were organized. These are women of Guinea-Bissau, these are women of Africa, these are women of the world, ready for the revolution.
Y'all know that there's a clear connection between Kwame Nkrumah and the PAIGC. You know that, right? When Nkrumah went to Guinea Conakry, A-APRP was there, and they had counsel, and Nkrumah was a help to A-APRP organizing the PAIGC. Y'all know that, right? I know you already read about that. You don't even understand why I'm talking about it. So now we want you to understand again that we are serious when we say we are Pan-Africanists. That means we are all over the world, you all. So I want to just ask all of the All-African People's Revolutionary Party organizers who are here in the Ghana chapter to stand, or if you're standing, to wave your arms just so people can see you. Can all of the Ghana chapter, All-African People's Revolutionary Party, stand? Yeah, wave your hands if you're here. All right. And then we have organizers here from our Tanzania chapter of the All-African People's Revolutionary Party. So please stand all the way from Tanzania. Give it up. Give it up. And then we have organizers here from our Canada chapter of the All-African People's Revolutionary Party. Canada, North America. Please stand up. Recognize, recognize. And then we, of course, as we mentioned, we have organizers here from the United States of America and our chapter there. So we're here. So please stand if you're from our U.S. chapter. Raise your hand and be recognized. Yes, indeed. So I don't think that we had comrades here earlier this week from Azania, South Africa as well. And so we are all over the world, you all. We're building more and more all over the world. We're making Nkrumah's dream a reality, and you should be a part of this process. You should join the All-African People's Revolutionary Party. You should join it. If you want true emancipation for women, you should join an organization that's not going to compromise with this system. And so before we bring up our brothers to entertain us more with music, I just want to say one thing, one more question I want to ask y'all. So the president, A-AWRU, am I pronouncing the name correctly? A-AWRU, the president of Ghana. And has everyone here seen the movie The Lion King? Everyone seen it? Okay, so I have a question for you all. So what is the difference between A-AWRU and Simba from The Lion King? Anybody? One's an African lion and the other's a lion African.
Many are hungry, many are jobless, cause their living is hard. Many are toiling, many are laboring in sweat shops. My brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers can make me up stand. We join in and together to resist
hopefully it'll be positive. I have a little something. I do. But I have no idea what I'm going to say because all the sisters that came before me said it all. Right? They told us that women, they move from one country to the next country in order to find employment. And they said that oftentimes when they do that, they have to compromise themselves. Like our sister, FIFA May, who talked about her harrowing experience in Kumasi. They've said it all. Our Nana here told us about the young people from her village who have gone and went across the Sahara because they had no other job opportunities in Ghana. So I said, I don't know what I'm going to say. We've heard Sister Adrian talk about the lack of economic opportunities for women in Ghana. We know that sisters move and they send their children and pay their school fees from selling water at Tekakwashi, at a cross circle. So I said, I don't know what I'm going to say. We realize that African women in Ghana, in Guinea-Bissau, in Tanzania, in Seattle, in DC, in Kingston, Jamaica. Jah Rastafari! Hey, you didn't hear me. Jah Rastafari! Hey! We know that African women are triply oppressed. We know that society is oppressing us. And we also know that we're being oppressed inside our own communities, are we not? Yes. Are we not? We know that African women are being forced to marry at young ages and not being given the opportunity to meet their full potential. We know that African women are paid 70 cents on every dollar in the U.S. and so they cannot feed their families. We know that African women are being raped and taken to Dubai where their domestic workers and their passports are seized and they can't get out because they're afraid that they'll lose their lives. We know this. So what do? I suggest we do 3 things. The first thing we have to recognize, we have brothers in the room here today. Sisters, I'm coming to you. For my brothers, you cannot turn a blind eye to the oppression of African women. You cannot turn a blind eye. We're here in Ghana, so let's not sugarcoat it. Let's not pretend that things don't happen. Let's not pretend that brothers are not complacent in African women's oppression inside of Ghana. Let's not say that it doesn't happen. We don't need to call anybody out. But we know it happens right here, right now, at this very moment. We know that some man, for whatever reasons, let's call it sexism, patriarchy, feels uncomfortable that a woman is deciding to manage her own affairs. We're clear about that, right? So as African men, it's your responsibility to fight on behalf of women who are fighting for their lives right now at this very moment in Ghana. Brothers, as you pull out your cell phones, you hear me, right? Brother Jamu, when your cell phone comes out and you want to tweet and you want to Instagram and you want to get on Facebook, remember that 1 in 4 women in the Congo are raped every hour. Let me say that again. 1 in 4 women are raped every hour in the Congo. So what is your responsibility? What is your responsibility? What is your responsibility to ensure that African women are not raped every hour? So that's the first thing that we have to do. African men, you have to stand up. You have to say that African women are our equals. They're not your cooks. They're not your baby mamas. They're not the people you come to in the bedroom. They're your equals.
Say that again.
Your equal.
Say it loud.
And you have to fight. Because what's going to happen is the moment that you, brother, start talking about women being your equal, other people will jump up and they'll challenge you. And I heard someone mention, the brother, we jumped down the brother's throat, but let me just say that I heard someone mention that women are also complicit in the oppression of women. And it is true. So as you begin to stand up and say, African women need to be able to manage their own affairs and develop so that Ghana can develop, women and men will challenge you. But don't be afraid, because you are righteous and history will prove you correct. That's the first thing you must do. The second thing, sisters, my sisters, we must stand up and take our agency regardless of societal pressure. We must not allow society to pressure us into marriage here in Ghana. We know it's true, don't we? By 22, if you're not married, something's wrong. Right? We must not allow that. We must demand that as African women, our agency is paramount. We must not be afraid to meet our full potential. We must not get around men and cower as if our voice doesn't matter. Sisters, today is the day that we stand up and say, no more. We will not be oppressed inside our own communities. That's the second thing that we must do. The third thing that we must do, we can't just talk, life is great, this happens, that happens. We must be active in an organization. Organization decides everything, sisters and brothers, everything. If you think your enemy's not organized, think again. That's why African women are oppressed, right? That's why our lovely Nana here informed us that we must not always blame the West. And I agree, but we also have to face the facts. The facts are that all of our raw resources here in Ghana and Zimbabwe and the Congo are going outside. Right. So that is why our young people don't have jobs. That is why our sisters are willing to risk their lives to go to Dubai. So we have to also challenge the exploitation of Africa and Africans' resources. We have our oil here. I use this always as an example. What do we own here? Is it 13% profits coming back to us? Is it even 13%? 3. I'm sorry, 3. Wow. I mean, that's like nothing. Pretty much why are you giving me anything? Okay? We must, as women, demand, if it's in the streets, if it's through our voice, if it's on Facebook, if it's on Twitter, we must demand that our profits for our resources, state and country, to develop programs in order to benefit women and youth. We must follow in the footsteps of our sisters and brothers who fought for the stoppage of the Liberian War. We must do that. The sisters who went to the Ghanaian conference center here and blocked the people in until they came to a truce, right? We must decide that we are going to say enough is enough. Because if we don't say enough is enough, we'll be here in a year. And we'll be here in another year. Right? Now I'm going to say something that I'm sorry, sisters and brothers. In organizations like the All African People's Revolutionary Party, the PAIGC, the Amir Carl Cabral Ideological Institute. I'm coming for you. We must eradicate sexism and patriarchy in our organizations. Why do I, as a woman, have to fight for my place in an organization that's liberating African people? Somebody tell me that. Why do I have to be oppressed inside an organization that's so supposed to liberate me? Are you following me? So we can sit up here and we can talk about the liberation of African women, but if we're oppressing African women inside the organizations in which we're supposed to be liberating them, it doesn't make any sense, Nana, does it? Coming to Jumbo, it doesn't make no sense. And what will happen is, if we don't address it, all of the women will leave. And it'll be a whole bunch of men.
I'm leaving.
And I love Brother John was leaving too. I love my brothers, just like I love my sisters. But I know that we have to do some house cleaning.
Say it loud.
We have to do some house cleaning. Sisters and brothers, we cannot say that we want to free ourselves and the West is oppressing us and we're oppressing each other inside the organization. Last but not least, for somebody who said she didn't know what she was going to talk about, I have a list. You see what I'm saying? I have a list. I don't know where the list came from, but you know that's how we do, right? So, last but not least, I want to challenge everybody in this space right here, right now. Do something to liberate African women tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. Don't just come over here a year from now talk about I'm down with African women, woo-hoo. No. Let's do something today. Wherever you work, where you go to school, where you volunteer. I'm going to say something, some people, you know, a little funny style, but I'm going to keep it real. Where you go to church, right? You go to the mosque. If you go to traditional shrine, do something to liberate African women. Because if we don't do something every single day, we will not liberate ourselves. Every single day. And last but not, I know I said it was last, but this is literally the last. I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, you know, they just kind of keep coming. You see, thank you, Sister Trudy, you were honest, right? Last but not least, sisters and brothers and sisters, I love us. I love me some African people. From the head to the toe, from the continent to the Caribbean, from the U.S. to Latin America. But we need to begin to realize that we have to change our ideology. The set of ideas and principles in which we guide our lives by, right now, the majority of us are guided by capitalist ideology, which promotes rampant individualism, which says that every man and woman is for themselves, which is why men are oppressing women and women are oppressing other women. Which is why we can have Mobutu having a floating bank in the Congo after he killed my man Lumumba. Right? Which is why we are constantly talking about corruption on the African continent. Because those who are corrupt, they are not Africans. They are African people who are following a capitalist ideology which is not in the benefit of Africa and African people. So we must change our ideology, and we do that through a work-study process where we read, we discuss, we exchange ideas, and we use those principles to guide our decision making. Again, if we don't join an organization, if we don't change our ideology, if African men don't stand up for African women, you have to stand up. And sometimes, you know what, when you stand up, it's hardest. Because you have to stand up with your boys. You have the boys' night. You feel me, on a Friday night. You drinking cup beer, okay? And the brothers are saying some crazy things. You gotta stand up. Sisters, you gotta stand up and challenge your sisters and your brothers and your husbands and your fathers and your mamas. In a courteous, respectful way. Please don't go challenge your mama. I don't want no problems. Don't tell your mama where I work. Don't tell your mama who I am. If you go challenge her, she slap you up and want to come slap me too. Don't do that, okay? But you have to challenge them so that they can hear you, right? So that they can hear that as African women, you deserve an opportunity to manage your own affairs. As African women, if 51% of us, we're 51% of the entire African population, and we're being oppressed, what does that say about African development? Even if you're not down with African women. Brothers, you don't like riding on some bumpy roads. Brothers, you don't like your CD depreciating. Brothers, you don't like living in a place where you think we need more development, right? You don't like struggling to pay school fees. So why don't we say, let's take this opportunity in order to step back so women can take their rightful place in the African Revolution. And if women take their rightful place in the African Revolution, we will take our rightful place in Africa. And once we take our rightful place in Africa, we'll take our rightful place in the Caribbean. And from the Caribbean, we'll go to the U.S. And from the U.S., we'll decide that we have a one unified socialist Africa. And the problems that we have today, we will not have. But until we liberate African women, we will always be oppressed. For whatever, backwards and Africa.
I'll follow that.
Can we stand up for that? What's up, y'all? Stand up for the dollar club? That's fire. That's fire, y'all. Thank you. Thank you, Comrade Sister Mjiba. So, we're at the close.
Yeah, man. I was African rights. Even when you roll up one so tough, I you stuck at the end of the road. Keep moving, you can weather the storm. And not for all, why you unstoppable? Are you unstoppable? Are you unstoppable? Stay strong, I'ma say you unstoppable. Are you unstoppable? Africans, we are unstoppable. Yellow. I'ma say, some reason never shot me. Bullet never matter me. Who them track me. Even when they eat it, they never parasite chop me. I never fear muscle, I see I guide me. I am a bossy to make them sit down and chop me. Wanna see the general from so running. Call me say man, a lion in a heart, and Africa in a heart. All of you is a memory to love. Let me know. Even when you feel your road was so tough, I you stuck at the end of the road. Keep moving, you go weather the storm. Brother, no for all. Cause you unstoppable. Are you unstoppable? Are you unstoppable? Hey, Africa, stay strong. We must sit on our way, Taliban man, unstoppable. Are we unstoppable? Are we unstoppable? Yeah. From the altar to the mosque, let us see it in my loss. When man them a just educated man, me go we lost.